Backpack Broadcasting continues to bring you the best original sports content, but now you can get more of the content you love. For as little as $3 a month, you can get access to bonus content, including behind-the-scenes footage and interviews from the Sports Walk, Sideline Stories, or the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast. All this exclusive content comes via Patreon. There are tiered levels of patronage, and each Backpack Broadcasting patron receives exclusive perks. Your support helps Backpack Broadcasting create more of the original content that you love. Visit Backpack Broadcasting's Patreon page and become a patron today. Ain't Hard to Tell Podcast, episode 83 from the brand new Gotham Podcast studio. You're looking at this, it's a little bit different, a little bit of a different look. We are in a new home with the Gotham Podcast studio, and it's beautiful. Loving the setup. It's just absolutely great. Dexter Henry and Brian Fonseca here.
I was looking for my water. I misplaced it.
Gotta find the water. Stay hydrated. Gotta do that. Lot going on in the world of sports. We have a very pumped up Brian who is pumped up about one of his loves, which is violence. And he's pumped up about things that have gone on in the world of boxing. And this man, I'm going to just let him set the scene, because when what happened, he was texting, and you know how you knew he was mad? He wasn't even trying to hide that he wasn't angry. He was texting in all caps. All caps, straight caps, homie.
I can't even deny it. Yo,
like you was just trying to let everybody know how angry you were. I told you, what I tell you, man, you gotta, chill with the energy. You gotta bring the energy down.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do. You do. Look. I understood why you're. I will say. Let me say this. I don't think Brian's anger is wrong.
That wasn't anger. It
was disgust more.
No.
What do we call it?
That was celebratory. Because as I said on Twitter, sometimes you get what's coming to you.
Oh, well, I agree.
It was karma in some cases. And I don't always rock with like karma in every situation.
Sometimes you get what's coming to you.
Yes.
That's true. Sometimes
you get what's coming to you. And maybe you can call that the episode. I don't know. But here's what happened. For those of you who don't know, and I assume everybody does, but you never know at this point. But let's just set the table, right? Anthony Joshua, a little over a week ago, had his big fight. We weren't able to get in studio until now. We've both been busy. Dexter just got back from Arkansas. I got some things in the works that I will not talk about yet, but soon. And as that was happening, Anthony Joshua fought Andy Ruiz. He was a 25-1 favorite at one point against Andy Ruiz, and it was at Madison Square Garden, his debut outside of the UK, where all of his fights were previously, and his first fight in the United States. He is, or was, the biggest star in the heavyweight division. I believe 21-0 with 21 knockouts, or 22-0 with 21 knockouts.
Held 3 titles.
Yes. Defeated Vladimir Klitschko.
And a fantastic fight.
Right. And where he got knocked down, and he lost, but not just lost, was dominated, destroyed, and dismantled by Andy Ruiz Jr. Andy Ruiz Jr., who was a replacement opponent because Jarrell Miller was the original opponent for Anthony Joshua. And Jarrell Miller is somebody who failed with three steroids in his system, oddly enough, right before 420. And then they ended up putting Andy Ruiz, whose last fight was on 420, on short notice. And he fought just 6 weeks after his previous fight and destroyed Anthony Joshua, knocked him down 4 times, stopped him in the 7th round, proved what I told Nabate when he was on our podcast for episode 35, that Anthony Joshua has a suspect chin and that he's not as good as people say he was. And he said he's more skilled than Deontay Wilder. And I said, that doesn't matter. And I think I'm wearing the same shirt in this episode that I was in that episode.
Does everybody hear the anger in his voice?
No, it's really not anger. It's like, I've been trying. Like, I am not. I was gonna lie. I was gonna lie and say I'm not the "I told you so" type of guy. But come on, man. Like,
look. Ain't nothing wrong with little "I told you so."
Yo,
I told a lot of people about Luka Doncic, and I'm still telling y'all about Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. I thought that Anthony Joshua could give, and I said this way back in the episode when we first started this, that Anthony Joshua could give Deontay Wilder a run for his money.
I didn't disagree with that. Wait, let me be clear also before you continue. Let me be clear. The reason why I said sometimes you get what's coming to you is not because of him. It's because his team, his promoter, Eddie Hearn, have been dancing around this sort of Deontay Wilder thing for a while and have been really just delaying this fight and drawing it out. And now there is not going to be a super fight because Anthony Joshua doesn't have the other 3 titles. Andy Ruiz does. And I'm not so convinced that Anthony Joshua beats him in the rematch, which, by the way, Eddie Hearn says is going to be in the UK. Man, if I'm Andy Ruiz Jr., no, Eddie Hearn said that it's going to be in the UK. If I'm Andy Ruiz Jr.,
I'm telling him you ain't dictating shit.
Yeah. I'm saying, yo, I'm from California. We're doing this in the Staples Center. Or better yet, I'm Mexican. We're doing this.
Mexico.
We're going to Azteca.
Yes.
That's where we're going.
That's what he should do.
Yeah.
And you know what I want to be? I really didn't care about this fight before, but if it's going to be in Azteca, I would like to be there. I'd love to feel that Mexican energy. That crowd's going to be live.
It's crazy because of all the great Mexican fighters, but all of them have been the biggest in size has probably been Canelo.
Yeah.
Most of them welterweights like Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
I don't remember any Mexican heavyweights.
Right. Like you have a lot of guys who were in lighter weight classes, but now this is the first ever Mexican heavyweight.
That's why that fight there would be dope.
He has to defend. Again, I don't care if it's against Anthony Joshua. I don't care if it's against Amir Mansour. I don't care if it's against Butterbean. He has to defend that title in Mexico.
Look. Let's for the people who don't know, please look up Anthony Ruiz Jr.
Andy Ruiz,
excuse me. He didn't look like somebody that you think would necessarily be a boxer. He's kind of in that Butterbean mold.
Yeah.
Doesn't really look like he's not as big.
But
he got some power.
And you watch his videos, that dude is in shape. He trains.
Yes.
He's probably, I don't know this, but he may have been just one of those heavy set, really athletic dudes when he was young.
But there's people like that.
Or he was probably a dude that was like 330 one time and lost a lot of weight.
Maybe.
And, it's just maintaining some level of agility.
The Eddie Hearn making the demands about where the possible rematch would be, there'll be a rematch. Let's just put that. There's definitely going to be a rematch.
And because the business is on his side with the zone and Matchroom.
But him making the demands is ridiculous. Secondly, I'm not so sure, and I said this to you the night you texted me on your little rant and texted in the group chat, which for people who don't know, I'm now part of the group chat. Finally, I've been invited into the group chat. This is a boxing problem.
Yes.
And this is what I was saying to you and what I have a problem with. This is a boxing problem. This is why I am further and further becoming disinterested in the sport. I don't care about as many fights. You told me about the fight. I was like, meh. Don't care.
Yo, I was
Didn't
mad.
care to watch.
I was mad about the fight. And I had a credential.
Now, to some, let me address Brian's point. Brian's point of this is what you get. This is what happens. This is how karma bites you in the ass when you consistently duck the fights that people want to see.
/ Anthony Joshua's overrated, and I told you so.
We've seen this. I'm not going that far, but when you get knocked down 4 times, you get stopped in the 7th round by a dude.
By overrated, I literally mean he wasn't the best heavyweight in the world. He's probably 3rd best at best. But I also said that Luis Ortiz would beat him, so probably 4th.
There's a lot of people I'd like to know how they feel about this. 1, Jarrell Miller and his failed drug test and not being able to get up there. 2, Deontay Wilder, how he also feels about that.
He's already been saying it's funny because him and Tyson Fury, who is the other best heavyweight in the world, along with Deontay Wilder, who actually fought Deontay Wilder. Mm-hmm. See, that's another thing about this. People could say, but Deontay Wilder was the one ducking it. And it's like, no, he wasn't, because I was there at the press.
Deontay Wilder many times has said, let's get this done. I'm willing to do this wherever.
I was there at the press conference when, I think it was early 2018, when Lou DiBella had, I forget who the gentleman's name was, but he pulled up an email from Eddie Hearn talking about wanting to just wait a little longer about the fight. You know what I'm saying? This is before Deontay Wilder came out and offered $50 million.
Why hasn't anybody learned? History is the way we learn. It's the best teacher. Why hasn't anybody learned? Look at what happened with Mayweather and Pacquiao. Look how late and disinteresting that fight became when it happened. You have 2 fighters in their prime at the top of the game. One where Joshua was holding 3 titles, and Deontay Wilder is holding another. And this is the fight everybody wants to see. The heavyweight division has been dead for quite some time. I think it's been coming back to life a little bit with some of the fighters.
Thanks to Deontay Wilder.
And now you got a United States dude, and you got a dude from across the pond.
And you have Tyson Fury, who's very interesting.
And they want to fight, and everybody knows this should be the fight, and you guys are dragging it out. Let me explain to people, and this is, I think, old school thinking around boxing. Dragging fights out across stuff, it doesn't help build any more of the interest.
Right.
Not when fighters are already established. Joshua, I'm not saying he's an extreme household name. Wilder has started to become established that people know who he is. If you start hyping it up as this is going to be the best heavyweight fight in a while, you can do it and get it done. Yeah. People will come and watch it, especially in the age of social media. But some of these dudes promoting act like that doesn't exist. This is a joke. It's an absolute joke. It's a stain on boxing. It's a reason for people like me to further say, you know what? I don't care. I don't want to watch anymore. Don't sell me on Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua in 2021. Let me tell you who doesn't give a damn. This guy.
And a lot of other people.
Care.
I don't either. And here's the thing. Now, sure, if Anthony Joshua wins in the rematch against Andy Ruiz, then he has the titles. But still, the rematch has still lost a little bit of his steam. And here's the thing with Tyson Fury is that he came back and he told Joe Rogan this when he was on Joe Rogan's podcast. Excuse me. What he basically said was to do business with Deontay Wilder, it was one of the easiest fights to set up in his career. He just shot him a message. It was like, yo, let's do this. And then before you know it, boom, December 2018, they're in, I believe it was the MGM Grand, and they have a great fight. Like, not just a good fight, a great fight. And, you know, I thought Tyson Fury edged out Deontay Wilder, but damage matters, and he had those 2 knockdowns. One of them could be argued. Some people have tried to argue that he was actually down for the 10 count, right? So that's been happening. Whatever, it was a draw. I'm actually fine with the draw now that I think about it because of Deontay Wilder's 2 knockdowns and of Tyson Fury sort of outboxing him and being skillful.
I was fine with that.
But those 2 guys fought each other.
Had a great fight.
And how does that make, from a business standpoint, how does that make Anthony Joshua and his side look when Tyson Fury, who was on drugs, or as Stephen A would say, he was on crack, right? And he's out of boxing for a while, for about 3 years. He comes back. He went up to 400 pounds when he was in retirement. He was the world heavyweight champion because he outpointed Vladimir Klitschko, won 3 world heavyweight titles, and then was like, I'm good. And then was addicted to drugs, and he was really messed up, was 400 pounds. And then he said, you know what? I want to come back. I'm going to be the heavyweight champion of the world again. And he came back in June of 2018. He came back. He won 2 fights and then challenged Deontay Wilder. Deontay's like, all right, let's do it. And then they have the fight. And then Anthony Joshua is just off to the side fighting Alexander Povetkin. And in this case, not fighting because he didn't have a fight from September all the way until June 1st when he lost to Andy Ruiz Jr.
Here's a
replacement opponent.
Here's the problem. None of this stuff, you know why none of this stuff changes? Because people did the same thing when it was Mayweather versus Pacquiao, and they sold it as a pay-per-view fight. You know what they still did? They still bought the fight. We say this all the time about the fans not realizing the power that they have.
This is a little different. This is a little different.
Don't buy the Joshua Wilder fight when it comes out in 2021.
I agree.
Don't buy it.
I agree, but what I'm saying is this is a little different because Mayweather and Pacquiao were bigger names. So this is actually not a better situation either. Right?
No.
Because this is not a better situation either because keep in mind that, yes, that rematch lost a little bit of its luster, but people started coming back around even though Juan Manuel Marquez knocked out Manny Pacquiao. Here's the thing. He didn't get dominated the way Anthony Joshua did.
He did not. My only point is that the fight should have happened way before that so that the Juan Manuel Marquez fight where Pacquiao got knocked out and put to sleep shouldn't even have happened because there's a long time should have been a Mayweather Pacquiao fight. When you're wasting the time of the public, the fans who watch this know where the best fighters are. They know who the number 1 contender is. They know all this stuff. And you're insulting the intelligence of fans and selling them these BS fights. For what? But people still watch.
Yeah.
Stop watching.
Well, but here's the thing: not as much as before.
No, they're not. But not enough to stop dissuading them from doing this. If people aren't showing up and saying that, don't show up, man.
Let me say
this:
this:
stop showing up for B-level fights. Let me
give Deontay Wilder a little bit more credit too, because here's what he did about approximately 24 hours before Anthony Joshua announced that before Anthony Joshua actually fought. Deontay Wilder made an announcement. He made an announcement that he's going to rematch Luis Ortiz in what was maybe the fight of the year in 2018.
That was a really good fight.
That was a
and
really
Ortiz
good fight.
was way better than I thought.
And Ortiz is older, but he's really, really good. I've said that I think he'll knock out Anthony Joshua if they fought. And I said that before Anthony Joshua was getting knocked around the ring by Andy Ruiz Jr. 4 times again.
Well, here's what I want to know. Go ahead. Yeah,
and then here's what Deontay Wilder said. He's going to rematch Luis Ortiz probably in the fall. So hopefully they bring that back to Barclays Center. But if not, because they already did it at Barclays Center somewhere else, maybe we'll see it in September, right? And then he'll fight Tyson Fury again. So he wants to rematch both guys. Why? Because there's controversy surrounding both fights. First of all, the fight with Luis Ortiz is a great fight. Give that to me again as a boxing fan and as a boxing reporter. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Wilder's recovery in that fight.
Exactly.
Man.
Wilder was basically out on his feet and somehow did not drop.
Man.
You know what I mean? And
great.
then came back and had an amazing knockout. It was a fantastic fight. And I don't mind them doing it again.
No, I don't. I don't mind it.
Especially given.
Also, who's he going to fight?
Right, exactly. Who else is he? He's not going to fight Anthony Joshua now. The only other logical thing would be Andy Ruiz, but I actually do think Andy Ruiz should get a different title defense first. Don't jump into the unification right away because I want him to defend that title in Mexico selfishly, or at least at the Staples Center, and fight a good challenger.
It's interesting how I feel about that. I kind of agree with you in the fact that, yeah, he should probably defend his title against somebody. You know why? Because Anthony Joshua and his team don't deserve it.
Right.
They don't deserve the immediate shot. And I would normally give people the immediate shot of doing it,
No, yeah.
but it's because of the fact
way
that they
he lost, right?
Well, not even the way he lost. He absolutely got.
Oh, but the way
dominated.
he danced,
the way he danced around it. I think the real point of what you're trying to make in all of this here is Deontay Wilder has shown to be a dude who wants fights.
People
to
forget.
Fight actually people who can be either a challenge to him or not. No matter what you felt about Anthony Joshua, and I'd love to ask Nabate this. I'm going to have to text him and ask him this, or anybody else that comes up. How are you looking at Anthony Joshua now? Not only that he got knocked down 4 times and the fight had to be stopped in the 7th round, but the fact that he's ducking around and looking like a little punk. Yeah, I said it. He's looking like a little punk. He's avoiding fights where you are showing the contrast where Deontay Wilder isn't doing this.
Or at least if it's not him, it's his team. But somebody there.
Man. Look, man. Anthony Joshua makes a lot of money for that team. He's helping a lot of people eat on that team. He could tell them, "Shut up! I want this fight. Let's get it done."
Yeah. I don't disagree with that.
He's a grown ass man.
I don't disagree with that.
Let's be real.
And with Deontay Wilder, it's interesting because I like to bring this up. He was going to fight Alexander Povetkin, who this was before he failed that steroid test and fought Anthony Joshua subsequently. He was seen as the boogeyman in the heavyweight division. His only loss was to Klitschko, and people thought that he was going to be a real test for Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder flew out to Russia and was going to fight him in Russia, defend his title against the other dude in his home country. And what happened? Alexander Povetkin failed the steroid test, one that increases your stamina, which is obviously very, very, very important in the heavyweight division, but very important in sports in general. Deontay Wilder posted a video on Twitter. I'll never forget this. I believe he was crying, because he was upset about that because he did all that work in training camp, probably 8 weeks, maybe even 10, and flew over to Russia, was in Russia, and this was 3 days before the fight, and then had to fly back. And then that's when he fought Chris Arreola. But people want to say that all he does is fight bums. And he's tried to fight these guys. He fought Luis Ortiz. Nobody wants to fight Luis Ortiz.
And
people don't want to fight Luis Ortiz.
We saw why people didn't want to fight Luis Ortiz.
Right, he almost beat Deontay Wilder.
Look, whether it's Deontay Wilder himself or Deontay Wilder's team or Anthony Joshua himself or Anthony Joshua's team, the difference I learned between Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua is their blood don't pump the same.
Yeah.
Their blood does not pump the same.
By the way, that Luis Ortiz loss to Deontay Wilder is still the only loss on this record.
Yeah.
It's still the only loss on Luis Ortiz's record.
You know what? What you got more respect for, the Luis Ortiz loss or the Anthony Joshua loss?
Right. Right. Because listen. You know what? If you want to give me Joshua versus Ortiz next, if Deontay Wilder decided to fight Andy Ruiz, not that that's going to happen, or if they want to do the rematch with Tyson Fury sooner, because Tyson Fury does have a fight coming up.
But here's the thing: why shouldn't Deontay Wilder fight Andy Ruiz? Why? I didn't even think about this. I didn't think about this before. Why should he not? Why not?
Oh no! I'm saying if I'm Andy Ruiz, I probably want to get in a defense because you're not fighting Deontay Wilder in Mexico. I probably want to do something where I'm defending the title in Mexico or in California or somewhere in my hometown first.
But you know what?
But if I'm Deontay Wilder, I want to unify now. I've been waiting for this for mad long.
You know what? I agree. Yeah, he wants to unify. I'm fine with Andy Ruiz getting the title defense and then fighting Deontay Wilder. I
don't know what the plans are.
Maybe in the fall?
Apparently, I'm sure. But here's the thing. I'm also sure Anthony Joshua had a rematch clause, right? So that's probably the next move. So Andy Ruiz is going to have to beat Anthony Joshua again.
I mean, Andy Ruiz,
and I think he could, because that.
I'll tell you what, if that happens again, can't nobody talk about Anthony Joshua anymore. You got to take that and go to the dark corners or wherever you was with that.
Look, I like to say all the time with Twitter, I don't care about followers, I care about resumes. And when I compare Deontay Wilder's resume and Anthony Joshua's resume, I'm sorry, Deontay Wilder's got the more impressive victories. I'm sorry, he does. He beat Anthony Joshua beat Vladimir Klitschko when he was 40 plus, and Nabate was up here saying that, oh, Vladimir Klitschko knocked him down. And I was like, he's 40 plus, and he's not as strong as Deontay Wilder, who has the best punching power we've seen since Mike Tyson. He almost killed Dominic Brazil, and according to his words, he tried to. Now, if that landed on Anthony Joshua, God forbid what would have happened.
If your logic is basically seeing what Andy Ruiz did to him, and then you have to wonder what Deontay Wilder did to him.
Exactly.
Then yes,
there's not going to be 4 knockdowns. It's going to be 1. All right. Like if it was,
do you give Anthony, your boy Anthony Joshua, do you give him any hope to rebound from this, win against Andy Ruiz, and get his name back into the ranks of people saying, well, one, he would recapture those belts, but also coming back to say, like, has the luster between him even put? Let's say, okay, let me bring this back. Let's say he has a rematch with Ruiz.
Yeah,
gets that, and now the talk starts to come up again about Wilder versus Ruiz, and I'm actually going to try to be reasonable here and say that this could happen in early 2020. Do you care?
Care about which?
The fight happening.
Joshua versus Ruiz?
No, not Joshua. I'm saying Joshua fights Ruiz.
Oh.
He beats Ruiz. He reclaims his 3 titles.
Do I care about Wilder versus Joshua?
Do you care about Wilder versus Joshua? Do you care if that can happen? And if it happens in a reasonable time, by reasonable, I'm saying early 2020. I still don't think it will happen because boxing's corny, but can it happen in early? Would you care?
I care because I think that Deontay Wilder is going to knock him out, and I just want that to be validated. But here's the thing. I'm not so convinced that he beats Andy Ruiz in the rematch. Like, I understand Anthony Joshua's going to be, he'll be more well-prepared and all that stuff. People were posting the videos. Like, people were saying that he might have had a panic attack before. Anthony Joshua since denied it. Before the video, he looked very ominous. He wasn't warmed up or whatever. Do I think he's going to take better care of himself this time around? Sure. But here's the thing. Once you get knocked out, that chin goes, baby. That chin is suspect. And that chin was suspect before because he got knocked down by Vladimir Klitschko. He got stunned by Dylan White multiple times. He got stunned by Alexander Povetkin before he got knocked down. He didn't even beat Joseph Parker by the amount that the judges even said. And then he gets knocked down 4 times by Andy Ruiz. And at the corner, he's standing there on the corner like this, and one of the best officials in the game was over at him and was like, yo, you gonna come in? And Anthony Joshua was like, yeah, and he's not really moving, and he looks dazed, and he's like, yo, I'm just stopping this fight. Michael Griffin, I think that was his name. He was one of the best officials in boxing. I don't know why his name is escaping me right now. I think it's because he grew a beard.
I will have to agree with Brian. Anthony Joshua and his team basically had this coming from him. They talked a lot. They've appeared to have ducked a lot. Yeah. They've appeared to have ducked a lot, and this is what happens when you're ducking. And now I'll be honest, I'm kind of rooting the way you're rooting, which is, I hope he does? I hope he gets those belts back, and then I hope Deontay Wilder comes and takes him away. I
don't know if whatever happens, cool. I just don't, if Anthony Joshua's beating Andy Ruiz in this rematch, which I'm not betting on that. But if he does.
What if he beats him badly in a rematch? What if Anthony Joshua wins and looks dominant? Does that change your opinion?
No, because Deontay Wilder's going to touch him one time, and it's going to hurt really badly. Listen, I know people want to say oh, he's not, he hasn't been boxing for as long as some of these other guys. 1.5 years after starting boxing, he won an Olympic bronze medal, which means he's boxing 12-ish years. So he's still learning about a lot of things, and he's gotten a lot better. But at the same time, Tyson Fury exposed some things in his game, some holes in his game, but that's Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is different.
Right.
Tyson Fury is the best moving target out of all the heavyweights than anybody else. People want to talk about Anthony Joshua's boxing ability, and I was never he can't move the way Tyson Fury does, and he doesn't hit the way Deontay Wilder does. He's a balance of both. But when you're a balance of both, that means you're not great at either.
It ain't hard to tell where to get the latest merchandise from Backpack Broadcasting. Gear is now available via TeePublic. Visit the Backpack Broadcasting TeePublic online store to get shirts, hoodies, mugs, and phone cases. Represent your favorite Backpack Broadcasting shows, including the Sports Walk, Sideline Stories, and of course, the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast. Check out the special offers for our podcast listeners at http:// t.pub LIC/backpack. Get in the game with your official Backpack Broadcasting gear today. The heavyweight match of the NBA, you'll say, has been going on, and NBA Finals. We are, at the time we were recording this, and we will be going into Game 5. And I think this series...
We're dropping this the morning of Game 5.
You will hear this. This series
will be over
probably is...
Is Kawhi Leonard Finals MVP?
Well, hold on. I want to get to that in a second.
No, it's over. What are we talking about?
Hold on. First of all, I don't like when people were like trying to figure out who the Finals MVP was before Game 3. Like, what are you doing? Like,
it's 1-1. Like, but now, Golden State could win on the road, but we'll see.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I was having a conversation with a friend, and we happen to be on the same page as this. Maybe the Finals shouldn't be that surprising. It's 3-1 Raptors. Shouldn't be as surprising for some people right now. The Raptors have depth. They're a good team. They're really good defensively. I've been lauding them for the beginning of the series. I picked them to go to the Finals from the jump. I liked them. I thought they were the best team in the East all season long. I don't care what anybody said about Milwaukee. I always thought they were better. They're deeper. Golden State just doesn't have the depth right now. It's not really an indictment on Golden State or they've played really poorly. It's just more of they just don't have the bodies.
Is that because of Kevin Durant's absence, though?
Hell yeah. What are they getting out? Have you looked at the numbers of what they're getting out of the front court?
That's what. No, I'm just asking because I'm like, Kevin Durant would change the series.
I also want to,
but I also think Toronto. I thought Toronto. I
still think it would go 7.
Right.
I'm not saying,
but I had Toronto in 7.
But I don't think
even with Kevin Durant.
I think it would probably be 2-2 now if Kevin Durant was here.
At least.
And I also want to say one thing to people. People need to leave Steph Curry alone. Steph Curry's shown up in the series. Steph Curry's been good. His performance in Game 3, even when they lost, was masterful, scoring 47 points. Did you see the lineup? He had no Clay.
Yeah.
There were no shooters out there. I was impressed that he was getting off shots.
But I do understand people that get on him, though.
I don't want to hear that Steph Curry didn't show up in the finals.
They don't really.
He didn't win the finals MVP.
His finals numbers are actually largely better than most people would
They're
think.
really good.
But
his numbers, period, he doesn't get the credit that he does. Steph Curry sometimes doesn't get the credit.
But then there's the other side that they want to make excuses for him every time he doesn't perform, which I also understand that side of the equation too. But it's because I told you my theory on Steph Curry is because he's light skinned.
Light skinned brother's not in style now?
No. I'm saying he's light skinned, so people for some reason don't criticize him as hard.
Oh, okay. I see. I can see that.
Right.
Okay.
For some reason.
Well, light skinned brothers are back in style. You're closer to that complexion, so you would know.
I'm not, but I'm Hispanic though.
You're closer to that complexion.
I'm not American light skin. There's different levels of light skin.
I'm just saying, you're closer to me. Anyway,
there's different levels of light skin, man.
No, but like this.
That was all pretty much joking, by the way.
It was
just in case people.
Whatever. Whatever.
But people
colorism does exist. I'm not trying to not say that.
Right, but people do love Steph Curry in that way, where the criticisms, like people have an issue with this criticism on both sides, where some people think that he gets too much and some people think that he doesn't get enough.
I don't think he gets enough credit for sometimes what he does on the court as a basketball player. I think this guy his off the ball skills, the way he runs around and still stops and gets shots and pops on the dime, is able to shoot, is fantastic. He'll dribble. I watched a play in Game 4 where he dribbled to the middle of the paint, gave it up, went around a back pin down, came up to the top and hit a 30-footer. And you're like, yo,
ridiculous.
Dude is ridiculous. Yeah. Anyway, he's been fine in the series. He's not part of the problem. They have got nothing out of their front court. They are mixing and matching who they can play as center. Their best center to the playoffs, Kevon Looney, just came back in Game 4. Hasn't really been a factor. DeMarcus Cousins, I can't kill him. What could you have expected out of him? He's out of shape.
That's the thing. It's like, it sucks because I really wish, excuse me again, I really wish that we had Kevin Durant versus Kawhi Leonard.
Me too.
Before free agency, and people, because people don't care about games as much as they care about like the ideas and fantasies of this person could go to the Knicks and this person go to the Nets and this person go to the Clippers.
Yo, I hold that because I want to touch on that in a minute and how crazy the last couple of weeks are getting. And some of y'all need to calm down out there.
Like
some of y'all need. We're going to touch on that in one second.
I like, not that isn't legitimate. Like those are legitimate things people are excited about. But I'm like, yo, can we just enjoy the finals?
We can't enjoy. People can't enjoy.
And I wanted to see Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard because perhaps Kevin Durant being healthy takes us away from that a little bit. And also, is the championship going to be tainted if and when Toronto wins and Kevin Durant is not there?
No.
Yeah, mean,
No.
I could see, but if you said,
no.
But here's the thing.
You play who's there.
Right. But
it doesn't take anything away from Toronto's a good team.
But I understand that, and that's not gonna be a discredit to Kawhi Leonard because he's been outstanding. But I do understand people who would say, "Oh, they didn't do it if they wouldn't do it if Kevin Durant was there." We will never know because I don't know if they're going to play. I don't know if they're going to play in the finals again. If for example Kawhi Leonard goes to the Clippers and Kevin Durant goes to New York, I don't know.
Maybe, but that's why I don't discuss it. You could talk about a lot of ifs and whens and blah blah blah, and I could be like, "Well, man, if John Starks can go 2 for 18 in Game 6 in '94, Knicks will have a championship."
That's another thing too.
He did.
History kind of doesn't weigh that into account.
You know why? Because nobody cares. You don't go back. You're like, oh, the Rockets won a championship in '94. If the Raptors win the championship this year, this is all that matters. Nobody's going to go back and look at that because it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
your teams play who they played against them. You don't get an asterisk. Kawhi Leonard won't get an asterisk next to a Finals MVP if it happens. It's not going to happen, man.
What also matters is how likable the person is, and Kawhi, for whatever reason, is just very likable. And I'm not trying to imply that he shouldn't be. I'm just like, people just really, really like the dude, even though he doesn't give us much reason to like or dislike him outside of his game, right?
He just plays good basketball. He's dope. He doesn't waste a lot of energy. He barely shows any emotion.
Right.
He's one of my favorite players to watch.
If you make him
the best two-way player in the league.
Yeah. If you make him an unlikable dude, though, the history probably remembers it a little bit differently.
Whatever. Y'all could be mad, but he still got his ring. So, whatever.
Yeah. He's gonna be a 2-time Finals MVP in all likelihood.
Look, the Warriors. And this is before we're gonna see Game 5. Could they win Game 5 if KD comes back? Although it looks unlikely. Yes, I think if they won Game 5, I think they would push a Game 7. But I do not. I'm telling you, the way Canada is all behind these Raptors, the crowds in Toronto have been. I'm hearing it from people who are there, but people on TV sounds fantastic. I kind of always thought the people out of Jurassic Park thing was corny, but I do kind of like the fact that there are all these Jurassic Parks all over Canada.
It looks dope on TV, man.
And people are out there, all these Canadians
and
out
Canada
there.
just does everything better than us.
And they're...
well, not everything, but healthcare, politics.
Well, definitely that.
They're nicer.
The mayor of Toronto wasn't he like smoking crack or something at one point?
I mean,
Rob Ford.
Sometimes, you know what I'm saying?
No, I'm not going to say sometimes you got to smoke crack. I'm not going to say.
I'm joking.
No, I'm going to say sometimes. I'm like, where are you going with this? No, I'm not saying that. Look, man, this has been I think the games have been entertaining, although there have been some pull-aways in some of these games. I thought the Warriors really were going to win Game 4. But if you really look at the depth, they just don't have enough depth. You have guys who are now in pressure situations in the finals. Alfonso McKinney, Quinn Cook.
Fred VanVleet.
I mean, on the Warriors.
Jordan
Bell that haven't really been in pressure these pressure situations.
That's why I said his name.
It's a lot to ask these guys. Curry and Thompson have showed up, but then what else have they got beside that? Draymond Green is going to give you his 10, 10, and 10. But he's not really somebody to give you 20 points.
More like 7, 8, and 5 sometimes.
So he's not going to give you that. He's been good as a distributor and pushing the ball in the pace, but they're getting nothing.
But he's not your alpha.
They're getting.
He's your alpha dog personality. But he's not your alpha player.
They're not getting anything from the 4 or 5 spot at all whatsoever. Winning consistently, they're playing Jonas Jerebko out there. Look at the fact that they're even in these games is a testament to the championship medal and how good they're playing. Look, this could be 4-1. I think if the Warriors win Game 5, I do think it's going to go 7. But I don't, unless Durant comes back, I don't think they have enough to win a Game 7.
We got to close this out and get to your thoughts on the off-season stuff soon. But first, are you ready for Championship Parade Drizzy?
No.
Yeah, it's going to be terrible. He's going to be Yeah, I'm already not that big of a Drake fan, as listeners may know.
You know a song is coming too, right?
Which one?
You know he's going to drop a song when the Raptors win.
Oh,
you know Drake's going to drop a new
song. Of course.
You know Drake's going to drop a new song.
Apparently, he just dropped a song called No Guidance with Chris Brown, and people are going to say that that's a song of the summer, regardless of how it sounds.
I have not heard it yet.
I haven't heard it yet. Apparently, it just came out as we're recording this podcast, according to the Twitter streets. But he's going to be insufferable. Oh my god!
But I do like his. I have enjoyed his finals trolling. I do like him.
I don't blame him.
Let me a couple things, because people there was this whole thing about, should Drake calm down and all this stuff. Look, man. Look, when he's rubbing Nick Nurse's shoulders, I don't have a problem with it. I'm a Knicks fan who watched Spike Lee do all this stuff all this time, so I have zero problem with Drake being hyped into games and barking with the players. I think it's great. If Draymond Green talking to him, he's calling Draymond Green trash. It's funny. First of all, none of these dudes is taking it that seriously. Nobody's taking it that seriously. Only some other people are. It's funny. It's good for the sport. He will be insufferable, though, when they win. But here's the thing, man. If the Knicks win a championship, I'm going to be insufferable.
But you're not Drake, though. Like, you're not going to be.
That's my point.
You're not going to be insufferable on a national level.
No, right. So nobody's. But you don't have to.
I mean, unless you're doing a live shot for AccuWeather and you have a Kevin Durant or
that's not going to fly well with my employer. That's not.
Y'all wear orange. Why not?
We don't wear blue.
So
that's not going to
get the all orange Iman Shumpert edition Nick jersey. I saw Iman Shumpert edition because he's the first one that wore it. Yeah, that leaked.
No, yeah. I'm not. No,
they need to bring back those orange.
They
jerseys.
Do. That's a whole nother story for another day. Even though they were 0-7 and done.
Off-season rumors. How do you feel?
People need to calm down.
Yeah,
everybody needs to calm down. Yeah. Like we are literally at the point where you know what shouldn't be reported anymore. You know what I'd like to just be done away with. Could we please stop reporting? All right, let me say this: if it's not post NBA draft, I don't want to hear anything about this person has an interest in
I don't think
team.
The players know where they want to go yet.
I don't want to hear, could we stop reporting interest? This person's interested in having a meeting with this team. Well, yeah, of course they're interested. I'm interested in having a meeting with anybody that might pay me some more money.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't feel like to me,
it's not even news.
But yeah, that's the thing. It's not really news. And to me, none of it really matters yet. As you sort of alluded to.
That's what I'm saying. That's the timing of it.
I was like,
you're reporting on May 31st or June 2nd or June 5th or whatever date it is, early in June, that this person's interested in this team.
We're seeing that the Clippers and the Clippers have all this cap space and they want to meet with all these players, and then there's stuff with the Knicks and the Nets.
The Knicks are interested in Kawhi Leonard. They should be. Thanks for telling me that.
Right, and then the Lakers, and they potentially want to get a meeting with this person, and yeah, I'm like I'm good on all that stuff, and I think more people, but I know people, remember, sports is their escape. It's fun to talk about. They don't like their real life situations that much, no offense, and then they, spend all day on sort of social media talking about these things. And I get it, because it entertains them, and it entertains a lot of people to fantasize about these things.
Why?
But it's a lot of energy.
Why do you guys find it interest entertaining?
But it's not even that. It's just, to me, it's a lot of energy being wasted, where it's like people, like I recently had a day where I tweeted about the Nets again, and I was doing it for a bulk of the day, and then people were like, welcome me back to Nets Twitter because I've been busy. And I'm like, I'm just doing other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand,
wake me up when there are meetings. You know what? Right now, I'm going to enjoy Game 5 of the NBA Finals. Yeah. I will then continue to enjoy if there are any more games in the NBA Finals. I then will enjoy the draft. After the draft, I then will enjoy when meetings are actually reported and deals are actually being signed about free agency. Y'all can miss me with the interest. If you're a fan, even if you're a fan of these teams with cap space, whether you're a Knicks fan, whether you're a Laker fan, a Nets fan, whatever fan you are, and if you're really getting excited about interest right now, you need to align your interest someplace else. Yeah. Because we're talking about, I sound like Allen Iverson, we're talking about interest. We're talking about interest, y'all. We're not talking about meetings. We're not talking about people signing on the dotted line. We're talking about interest.
Right. And it doesn't, it literally does not matter yet. We're 3 weeks away from free agency.
Yeah. Have you ever, you know what's happened?
Now, yes, people have talked, and there's a lot of things that are going on in conference or whatever, but I'm saying in terms of news and the news stream, this doesn't matter yet.
You know what happens a lot of times? How many times have you ever been like, oh, yeah, I'd be interested in that. And then 2 weeks later, it changes. Yeah, interest could change.
Bro, I change my mind all the time. I like to reference this a few years ago when Kevin Durant made his decision to Golden State. What was being reported 3 weeks out?
Interest that he might be interested in going to the Celtics.
Right.
There were interest you got meetings in all other kinds of teams.
Probably the Knicks.
Yeah, I don't even remember.
I don't remember, but it wasn't Golden State.
Yo, the fact that
was later in
news cycles, we get so excited about the word interest that these teams might be interested. If somebody reported after the season's done, hey, Kevin Durant or whoever has a scheduled meeting with, okay, now you got my attention because we're talking about scheduled meetings, things that are actually going to happen. Yeah. Somebody being interested in something right now. I could be interested in drinking water out of this mug right now, and then I could be like, you know what? Nah. I'm good, because interest can change real quick. So if you're getting excited about interest or think this person's interested in you, also, this is where fans get me bugged on this too. please remember who's putting out leaking information and controlling information. This sometimes comes from players, sometimes comes from agents to maybe drive up the price,
some fans
to make it a more competitive market.
Some fans aren't
This is
savvy
how
enough,
business works.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to listen to all this stuff. So somebody says, hey, we're interested in this team. It might be to get another team to give them more, not even necessarily in money, but maybe more control. Different things that can happen down the road. This is what they're trying to do. So teams are playing each other against each other. Don't buy all the hype.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just interest.
And sometimes enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
Because you know what? All you guys are getting excited about you to bring it back full circle. Sometimes you get what's coming to you, and all that hype you're getting that's building up is just to be let down and disappointed.
Right. Look, people just like the thought of having sex rather than having sex sometimes. And it's the weirdest thing to me.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand those people.
Like,
you like the thought of pleasure, but not being pleasure.
Right. Like, I'm interested in $1 million, but guess who's not getting $1 million yet? Me. You know what I'm saying?
But you might.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
But when you sit down and have a meeting to have $1 million, that's when you get it.
That's when it matters.
Yeah.
That's when it matters. Like, you could be interested in something all you want. You could be interested in I don't know. You could be interested in whatever it is. It could be a woman. It could be. I was gonna name a name, but never mind.
The reporting around it.
I was gonna tell myself, nope, not doing it.
The reporting around it is just like, yo, man. Like, I'm looking at this stuff on Twitter, and I'm like, what are some of y'all getting excited about? And then making declarations that certain things are going to happen. Like, the fact that this is news and we have discussions and people could tweet this out and then it becomes talked on. We're actually talking about it from a very different way that other people are talking about it, which is just like, oh, well, now this report has come out. This person's interested in this team. What does that mean?
See,
it doesn't mean anything.
Right, exactly.
It means nothing.
It could. Now, here's where it gets to news. They're having a meeting at certain place or at this time or at the day. You know what I mean?
That means there's potential to sign. Now I'm excited.
Right. Like when I see draft workouts or draft reports or whatever, that Jarrett Culver is meeting with the Knicks on Saturday, whatever. RJ Barrett's meeting with the Knicks on Sunday. This person's meeting with the Houston Rockets.
It's funny. In terms of draft, that doesn't even excite me because that team's just doing due diligence. That doesn't even excite me.
Right. But when I'm seeing stuff like that, I'm like, okay, that's actually something. That means they're actually meeting with them. Now, free agency, it's more newsy because obviously, you know,
there's potential to
you're
sign.
not going to meet with every team. You're taking 3-5 meetings if you're Kevin Durant. You're taking 3-5 meetings if you're Kawhi Leonard, and nobody knows what he's into other than basketball, right? But when they're having meetings, that's when it's news. But other than that, like, I understand people look, and this is not a knock on the reporters either, because people are just doing their jobs because they see that this is news, so they're putting it out as news, and people are, you know, gravitating towards it as if it's news, but it's not really news at the end of the day, and that's why a bunch of us don't really get worked up about it.
I'm not worked up about it. I'm just worked up about it. I don't understand why y'all care so much.
Yeah, I've had stuff.
I don't understand.
I've had stuff that I didn't report because I'm like, that's not really news, and then I've seen it gone out there, and I'm like, oh, no,
I don't understand. It doesn't matter to me. But you know what? Like you said, they're the same people that probably, you know, like the idea of sex more than having sex.
Right. All right. Let's do numbers. On that note, we are doing episode.
I'm interested in these numbers. I'm so interested.
83, our first one in the new Gotham Podcast studio at about Midtown Manhattan. We did 35 in the first location. We did, if my math is correct.
Why do you have the breakdown?
We did 47 in the previous Gotham Podcast studio location. This is our 48th with GPS. So shout out to the partnership. We got for 83, Andre Reed, Wes Welker, Mark Clayton, Vincent Jackson, Willie Gault, Heath Miller. Oh, I thought I spelled him Health Miller. That would have been really funny. Algie Crumpler.
Wow.
Lee Evans, Deion Branch, and Harry Douglas. A lot of wide receivers that I like, some tight ends also.
For me, there's one person that stands out because I actually did like him growing up. Andre Reed, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to go Mark Clayton for some reason.
Nah, Andre Reed. I liked Andre Reed, even though I liked him for his Bills. He was a good receiver, man.
I liked, don't really care for Wes Welker much.
Oh, what a shock.
I respect the game though, but like don't really care for him.
Yeah, he's a short guy. Thought you'd be rocking with him.
I actually think Edelman is more talented, but anyway, Mark Clayton. I like Algie Crumpler back in the day.
I did too.
Also like Lee Evans, even though he used to kill me in Madden. Also, Bills.
It's got to be a video.
You want to talk about people that kill me in Madden?
Deion
Branch, man, because they had him before the Revis days. Harry Douglas was good, slot receiver for for Atlanta back in the day. But I don't have a strong opinion on this one way or another, so I'm rolling with Andre Reed.
Andre Reed. It's the Andre Reed episode 83. Thank you guys for listening to episode 83 of the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast, our first one in our new Gotham podcast studio location. If you're watching, you got to see how it looked. More episodes coming out soon through this busy month. There's a lot going on with the NBA Finals, NBA Draft, free agency coming up. I know a lot of people want to talk about that. You feel free to send us in some videos and your thoughts around all of that. Continue to subscribe to the podcast. Also, leave a comment. That also helps us. And you can check out the survey in the link to the podcast below and check out our merchandise on TeePublic, and our store link is also in the podcast for you guys to grab some of that. That's it for Brian Fonseca. I'm Dex Henry. Until next time, y'all. Peace.